Historical Document 54621, the Concert on the Seven Worlds, to commemorate the end of the 50-year wilding and the seeding of the new worlds. Introductory speech by Maximilian Morningstar. The year is 2222, post-wilding era.
Good evening and welcome one and all. Let me simply begin by welcoming all the lucky winners who are here in person tonight and all those attending via the Cortex. It is an honor to have you all here. When the Council of Eight approached me on behalf of the public last year to request a commemoration of the momentous events that have brought us to these exciting times, I was deeply moved and decided to enhance the outcome by asking Knox and Echo to collaborate. They, of course, accepted, and we began working on this commission. We first set about deciding how best to tell our story. After some deliberation, we decided upon a musical concert. This musical concert, to be precise. So tonight, we welcome everyone from across the globe, in every citadel across Earth's sky blue, to enjoy our musical tribute to the road that has led us here. A story that covers over 200 years of human history. It must be said that for the three of us, this is also a very personal artwork, as we were delving into the experiences of our personal lives together. So we created this performance and the COT7W program to guide you through our collective odyssey. Without further ado, we would like to invite you to this concert, and we hope you enjoy the music and the hollow art that will accompany our performance. Numquam metuo, dear cousins, and on with the show.
Commence play now, please.
The 2100, Dark City's Extract, Chapter 8, Part 1, The Way of the World. It had only been 2 weeks since the hospital heist, and the world seemed to have fallen even further towards being consumed by its own systematic chaos. Alistair and Abby had delivered the ambulance to the designated location, an abandoned junkyard in Sector 7, a sector that just so happened to be controlled by the Malkovich Syndicate. They were, however, ordered to be placed within black hoods and airlifted to an unknown location. All they knew was that it was a luxury bunker and that they were both now under the protection of the Knights of Terror until the interest in the disappearance of her had been paid enough to go away entirely. This was usually not a difficult thing to achieve, as entertainment news was entirely owned by the corporation coalitions and had been sanitized from any connection to reality years ago. Day after day, night after night, the images people received via their comms, implants, tablets, and screens were exclusively collected and meticulously pre-prepared for global consumption by the Consortium Standards Committee. Unreality shows playing out absurd romantic scenarios in virtual spaces, so-called survival shows on imaginary islands, game shows, AI-generated game shows, talk shows, AI-generated talk shows, endless hours of pointless, vapid entertainment. Polished imbeciles parading about on digital sets that knew how to laugh on cue and act surprised, producing unbridled enthusiasm for total mediocrity, all the while condemning the right people for their unpopular behavior. They truly poisoned the world with their mere existence. So, it seemed obvious to anyone who ever paid attention to real life in the city, a city run on money and influence, that all stories were only ever as interesting as the talk news media promoted them to be, or not to be. The reality is, their only purpose was to demonize the poor and vulnerable, villainize all those who opposed corporate rule, and ultimately distract the suffering masses from ever thinking of ways to improve the world around them. To distract them all from the awful fact that the natural world was almost entirely used up. The green spaces were gone, the wild animals of Earth extinct, the oceans practically empty. The 2100 Chapter Extract, Book 3, 1,000 Days of Static, Introduction. It has been 15 years since the fall of the world. What can be said about living on an island in a time of rule without law? For most, nothing good. For us, not all bad. I myself was already 39 years of age when the great unwinding reached its zenith. All of us, thrown into a moment of history where our society had finally reached its point of unraveling. No one seems to know for sure what caused the breakdown. There are many hypotheses on why and how, yet there was no bright flash, no new disease, just more bad weather and an angry populace. Back then, everyone was angry, not like now, where most people are just afraid. It was after weeks of social upheaval, riots in the cities, fires burning in the tower blocks, that the lights went out and did not come back on. People called the law as violence erupted across the small island. Ambulances sat, doors flung open and empty in the hospital parking garages, as citizens called for help, but help would never arrive to save them. Then, a few days later, the water stopped flowing to the cities, suburbs, homes, and the world as we knew it was simply gone. Almost overnight, it seemed. What we do know is that the life that followed for my new family, because of what the founder and his family set in place in the first year of the collapse, is a story that has been told and retold around the fires of the new tribes for 14 years now. This, however, shall be the first true and historical account of our family's war and the rise of the Knights of Terror within this broken world. We have sourced every aspect as thoroughly as possible, interviewed knights, neotecs, strangers, and cad alike. But as every knight who was there will tell you, that in order to truly understand what happened in Haven Hollow, one must understand how we got there in the first place. And to do that, we must travel back to the very beginning, to tell the life and times of the founder of the Knights of Terror as we exist today, Noctifer Morningstar, the original mapmaker. All this, it all starts with him and his family.